My name is Ava Mercer. I'm 33 years old. And the night my proposal died didn't begin with shouting. It didn't begin with humiliation. It didn't even begin with the moment he laughed. It began much earlier. In all the quiet moments I convinced myself were normal. If you had looked at my life before that night, you would have called it stable. Not glamorous, not flashy, but real. The kind of life built slowly with both hands and protected with both eyes open. I own an auto shop in Columbus. Mercer Auto Works. 2 bays when I bought it. 3 years of 14-hour days to make it something that could stand on its own. Grease under my nails. Receipts balanced at midnight. Every dollar earned the hard way. It wasn't impressive to people like him, but it was mine. And for a long time, I thought that was enough. His name was Daniel Hayes, 31, senior account manager at a commercial real estate firm. The kind of man who always looked like he belonged in a room before he even spoke. Tailored suits, perfect posture, smile that landed exactly where it needed to. We'd been together 3.5 years, long enough to build routines, long enough to believe in a future, long enough for him to casually drop hints about marriage, while slowly teaching me to feel like I wasn't quite ready for it. Not because I didn't love him, but because I wasn't there yet. Not successful enough, not polished enough, not impressive enough. I saved for 6 months for that ring. 6 extra jobs, late nights, skipping things I wanted, telling myself it would be worth it. Because when you love someone, you invest. Not just money, hope, belief, time. I bought a 1-carat white gold ring. Simple, elegant, real. The kind of ring I thought meant something. The kind of ring I thought he would understand. Originally, I planned something private. A quiet dinner. Just us. No pressure. No audience. But then his mother stepped in. Family dinner this Saturday, she said. It's important. And Daniel kept repeating one thing all week. Make a good impression. That should have been my first real warning. I had already met them many times. But suddenly, it mattered more. The night of the dinner, I stood in front of the mirror longer than I should have. New suit. $600. Money I didn't really have to spare. But Daniel had been making comments for months. You should dress better around my family. They noticed things, so I adjusted, like I always did. And when he opened the door that night, his eyes ran over me once. Just once. Is that new? Yeah, I said, smiling. You said we should go, he cut in. No compliment. No warmth. Just evaluation. His parents' house was exactly what you'd expect. Large. Perfect. Controlled. The kind of place where nothing looked lived in. Everything curated. Everything intentional. Everything expensive. His mother, Elaine Hayes, greeted me with a practiced smile. His father, Richard Hayes, gave me a firm handshake. His sister, Lauren, adjusted her diamond ring like it was part of her introduction. Her husband, a surgeon, talked about his new boat before we even sat down. And Daniel? He blended into it all like he belonged there. Like he had always belonged there. Like I was the only thing slightly out of place. Dinner was polished, controlled, and quietly humiliating in ways that only people like them understand. So, Ava, Elaine said, smiling, you still work on the cars yourself? Still, like it was something I hadn't grown out of yet. Yeah, I said calmly, it's my business. Lauren tilted her head slightly. That's hands-on? I smiled. Very. Daniel didn't say a word, didn't defend me, didn't add context, didn't say, she owns it, she built it, she's good at it. Nothing. He just sipped his wine and let me stand there alone. By dessert, my heart was pounding. Not because I was unsure, but because I still believed, still hoped, still thought love meant something in a room like that. Elaine leaned back slightly. So, what's next for you two? There it was. The moment. The opening. I felt it in my chest before I moved. I stood, hands shaking, pulled the ring box from my pocket. Gasps around the table. Daniel's eyes widened. And for one brief second, I thought he was surprised in a good way. Hey. I got down on one knee, right there, in front of his entire family. And I meant every word I said. About the years, about the life we built, about wanting a future together. No performance, no manipulation, just truth. Then I opened the box. The diamond caught the light. Beautiful, steady, real, just like everything I had tried to build with him. Us. Will you marry me? Silence. Not emotional silence. Not overwhelmed silence. Wrong silence. Daniel stared at the ring. His face shifted. Confusion. Then something colder. Then he laughed. A short, sharp sound. Like he couldn't believe what he was looking at. Are you serious right now? The room froze. I felt it immediately. Something breaking. Yeah, I said quietly. I love you, Daniel. He pointed at the ring. What is that? It's 1 carat. 1 carat? The way he said it was worse than yelling. Lauren instinctively touched her ring. 3 carats. Huge. Obvious. Expensive. Daniel looked at it, then back at mine. You thought this was enough? I was still on one knee, still holding the ring, still trying to understand how everything had flipped this fast. It's what I could afford. And that's when everything collapsed. What you could afford, he repeated. Then he stood, slowly, deliberately, and every word after that was a knife. I've waited 3 years for you to level up, Ava. My chest tightened. I've waited for you to become someone I could actually be proud of. The room blurred. And this? He gestured at the ring. This is what you think is acceptable? I didn't move. Couldn't. You run a garage. The word landed like dirt. You fix cars. Laughter from his brother-in-law. Quiet. Uncomfortable. But there. Do you know what it's like telling people what you do? Daniel's voice got louder. Sharper. My friends are marrying lawyers. Doctors. Founders. His eyes locked on me. And you thought I'd marry a mechanic? Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. You have no ambition, he continued. You're comfortable being this. This. That word. That was the one that cut deepest. Because I had spent years trying to be more for him. And somehow, it had never been enough. Then he stepped forward, reached down, took the ring from my hand, and threw it across the room. It hit the wall. Hard. Sharp. Gone. Elaine gasped. Daniel! But he wasn't done. I'm not marrying into that life, he said coldly. I'm not spending my future explaining you to people. Something inside me went quiet. Not broken. Quiet. And in that silence, everything became clear. I stood up slowly, looked at him, really looked at him. And for the first time in 3.5 years, I saw him exactly as he was. Not who I thought he was. Not who I hoped he could be. Who he actually was. You're right, I said. He blinked. Wasn't expecting that. You deserve better. The room shifted. Confused. Uncertain. And so do I. That landed harder than anything else that night. I walked past him. Got down. Reached behind the cabinet. Found the ring. Held it for a second. Then placed it back in the box. Carefully. Because it hadn't done anything wrong. I turned back to the table. Thank you for dinner. Calm. Controlled. Final. Then I looked at Daniel one last time. I'm going to find someone who doesn't need me to prove my worth. He scoffed. You're being dramatic. I met his eyes. You threw my engagement ring at a wall. Silence. Pure. Unavoidable. You did me a favor tonight, I added quietly. You showed me exactly who you are before I made a mistake. Then I walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't stop. Didn't break. Not yet. Because some things don't hit you all at once. They follow you. Into the car. Into the silence. Into the moment where you finally sit still and realize you almost gave your life to someone who never respected you.
ATM.
And that was the moment everything changed. Not when he rejected me. Not when he humiliated me. But when I finally understood, I had been shrinking myself for someone who was never going to see my full size. And I was done doing that. She walked away and built something he couldn't touch. I didn't cry in the car. That part surprises people. They expect tears, breakdowns, some dramatic collapse the moment the door closes and the world goes quiet. But I just sat there, hands gripping the steering wheel, breathing too slowly, too evenly, like my body hadn't caught up to what just happened yet. The ring box sat on the passenger seat, closed, silent, like it was waiting for me to decide what it meant now. I drove to Cole Mercer's place. Same place I'd gone 100 times before. But this time, I wasn't showing up to relax. I was showing up because I didn't trust myself to be alone yet. Cole opened the door, took one look at my face, and didn't ask a single question. Just stepped aside. Come in. That was Cole. No drama. No curiosity first. Just presence. I sat down on his couch, held the ring box in my hands, stared at it like it belonged to someone else's life. He handed me a drink, waited. And when I finally told him everything, he didn't interrupt, didn't react, didn't try to fix it. He just listened, all the way through. When I finished, the silence stretched. Then he leaned back slightly and said, So, let me get this straight. I let out a tired breath. Go ahead. You saved for 6 months, yeah, he said slowly. Bought a $5,000 ring, got a suit, showed up to his family's house, proposed like a damn adult. Yeah, and he thinks you're the one without standards? I laughed. Short, sharp. Because when he put it like that, it sounded ridiculous. Apparently. Cole shook his head. His loss. Nice. I woke up the next morning on his couch, head pounding, neck stiff, phone buzzing nonstop. For a split second, I forgot. Then I saw the ring box on the table, and everything came back.
Fuels.
97 missed calls. I stared at the number, didn't even feel surprised. 38 from Daniel, 12 from his mother, 4 from Lauren. Even his father had tried twice. The messages? Worse, way worse. They told a story, not about regret, about control. Where are you? We need to talk. You embarrassed me last night. That one made me pause. Embarrassed him. I kept scrolling. You blindsided me. You should have talked to me first. Then, the shift. The part where accountability disappears and blame takes its place. You're being dramatic. It was one bad moment. You're really throwing everything away over this? I felt something cold settle in my chest. Because that right there was the truth. Not the dinner, not the ring, not the words. This was who he was when things didn't go his way. And I deleted everything. Every message, every voicemail, every thread. Then I blocked him. Everywhere. Phone, Instagram, email, gone. Not because I was angry, because I understood something now. Access is a privilege, and he had lost it. Cole walked into the kitchen while I was finishing. Coffee in one hand, plate in the other. So, he said, what's the plan? I leaned back in the chair, thought about it, then answered simply, move on. He didn't react, didn't nod, didn't agree, just looked at me, then shook his head. No. I frowned. No, he repeated. You don't just move on from something like that. I crossed my arms. What do you want me to do, Cole? Go scream at him? Ruin his life? He smirked slightly. No. Then what? He took a sip of coffee, set the mug down, then said something that changed everything. Stop playing small. That hit. Hard. Because I knew exactly what he meant. You've been holding back for years, he continued. For him, for his comfort, for his image. I didn't argue. Because I couldn't. He wasn't wrong. How many times have you talked about expanding the shop, he asked. How many times did you not do it because it wasn't the right time? Too many. How many jobs did you turn down because you didn't think you were ready? More than I wanted to admit. How much money did you spend trying to fit into his world instead of building your own? That one stung. Because the answer was clear. Enough to matter. Shaman. Cole leaned forward slightly. He thinks you're small, he said. Fine. I met his eyes. Show him what small actually looks like when it grows. That line stayed with me. Long after the conversation ended. Long after the coffee was gone. Long after I left his apartment. Monday morning, I was at the shop before sunrise. Mercer Auto Works. Same place. Same tools. Same worn floor. But something felt different. Like the space had more room in it. Or maybe I did. Logan was already there. Halfway under a car. He rolled out when he saw me. Heard about the weekend. I dropped my bag by the office door. From who? He winced. Your ex. Of course. I exhaled slowly. He called here? Saturday night, Logan said. I told him I didn't know where you were. He called me a liar and hung up. I laughed once, because that was exactly what I expected. Sorry about that. Logan shrugged. He sounded unhinged. Good. Let him be. And that day, I didn't sit around thinking about him. I made a plan. A real one. Not vague ideas. Not someday. Actual steps. I called the jeweler. Confirmed the return policy. I opened my notes app and started listing everything I had been putting off. Better diagnostic tools. Alignment machine. Paint setup. Lighting upgrades. Waiting room renovation. Things I could have done months ago. But didn't. Because I was too busy trying to be acceptable in someone else's life. By Tuesday afternoon, the ring was gone. Returned. Refund processed. $4,800 back in my account. Plus another $3,000 I had saved for a wedding that was never going to happen. $7,800. Not wasted. Redirected.
Auntie?
That was the shift. Not emotional. Strategic. I didn't lose anything. I just got my investment back and chose a better place to put it. Wednesday. I ordered the diagnostic scanner. Thursday. I committed to the alignment machine. Friday. I scheduled the repaint for the waiting area. Small changes. But each one felt like reclaiming something. Not from him, from myself. The next week, Daniel showed up. Of course he did. People like him don't understand endings. Not real ones. Not the kind that don't involve them choosing. I was under a car when Logan walked into the back. She's here. I didn't move. Tell him I'm busy. I did. And he said it's important. I slid the wrench into place. Kept working. Tell him I don't care if his schedule collapsed. I'm busy. Logan smirked, then walked back out.
And Charlatan.
30 seconds later, I heard his footsteps. Sharp. Controlled. Trying to sound calm. Failing. Ava, we need to talk. I finished what I was doing first, then rolled out slowly. got to my feet, wiped my hands, looked at him, and for the first time, I didn't feel anything. No pull, no attachment, no instinct to fix, just distance. No, I said, we don't. He blinked. That caught him off guard. You're being childish. I almost smiled. No, I said calmly. Showing up uninvited after humiliating me in front of your family is childish. His jaw tightened. He wasn't used to this version of me. I was caught off guard, he said. You threw my engagement ring at a wall. Silence. Immediate. Heavy. It was exactly that. He exhaled sharply. You should have talked to me first. I tilted my head slightly. That's not how proposals work. I have standards, he snapped. I noticed. That landed. Hard. Shit. I leaned back against the car. I boxed your stuff, I said. I'll drop it off tonight. His expression shifted. What? We're done. That was the moment it clicked for him. Not before. Not at the dinner. Now. You can't throw away 3 years over one bad night. I held his gaze. Watch me. That broke something. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But enough. Ma'am. Fine, he said coldly. Don't come back when you realize what you lost. I didn't hesitate. I won't. He left. And this time, I didn't feel anything watching him go. No regret. No doubt. Just clarity. Because the truth was, I didn't lose him. I lost the illusion of him. And that was the best thing that could have happened. That week, everything started moving. Faster. Sharper. Cleaner. The shop changed. I changed. And for the first time in years, I wasn't trying to fit into someone else's version of success. I was building my own. And something told me this was only the beginning. He watched her become everything he mocked. The first real shift didn't come from money. It didn't come from numbers or growth charts or anything you could measure on paper. It came from a single sentence. A customer walked into my shop, looked around slowly, took in the equipment, the layout, the way everything moved with quiet efficiency, and said, "Whoever runs this place knows exactly what they're doing." I didn't correct him, didn't downplay it, didn't deflect. I just said, that would be me. And for the first time in a long time, I believed it without hesitation. The momentum built faster after that. Not overnight, not magically, but consistently. The kind of growth that comes from saying yes to the right things over and over again. I took on the jobs I used to hesitate about. Full restorations, engine rebuilds, custom detailing work that required precision, patience, and confidence. The kind of work that separates good from exceptional. And every time I delivered, my reputation moved one step higher. The Chevelle restoration changed everything. Deep metallic blue, full frame-off rebuild. The owner, Vince, posted photos the day he picked it up, tagged the shop, tagged me. And suddenly, people were paying attention. Not casually, seriously. Collectors started calling. Owners who had been turned away from other shops. Clients who didn't ask for discounts. They asked for availability. Cole kept pushing me. Post everything, he said. People don't just buy results, they buy the process. So I did, before and after shots. Time-lapse clips, close-ups of detail work. No filters, no gimmicks, just real craftsmanship. The kind of content that doesn't need to be flashy, because the work speaks for itself. The numbers climbed, slow at first, then fast. 1,000 followers, 2,500, 5,000, and then one video, just a simple clip of a polished hood reflecting the overhead lights, hit harder than anything before. Thousands of views, hundreds of comments. People asking, where is this shop? Do you take out-of-state clients? Who does work like this? That was the moment it clicked. I wasn't chasing validation anymore. I was attracting it. And that changes everything.
I see.
That's when Ethan Hale entered my life. Not through a bar, not through coincidence, through work, the way things should happen. He came in on a Tuesday morning, early, quiet, driving a black Porsche 911 that had seen better days. Clean car, but worn, used, maintained but not loved. I noticed that immediately. Looking to restore it? I asked. He nodded. Yeah, but I don't want it overdone. I want it right. I smiled slightly. You're in the right place. He studied me for a second, then said something that stuck with me. I've heard that. Not I saw your page. Not someone recommended you. Heard. That meant reputation. That meant word of mouth. That meant trust. Ethan wasn't flashy. Didn't try to impress. Didn't talk down to me. Didn't test me. He asked questions. Real ones. About the work. About the process. About timelines. He listened to the answers. And when we were done, he said, do it. No hesitation. No negotiation. Just trust. He came back a few times during the build, not hovering, not controlling, just present, interested, respectful. One afternoon, he stood in the bay, watching me work for a few minutes before speaking. "You enjoy this," he said. It wasn't a question. "Yeah," I replied. He nodded. "You can tell." That was it. Simple. But it landed harder than anything Daniel had ever said to me. Because it wasn't about image. It wasn't about comparison. It was about recognition. We started talking more after that. Nothing forced. Nothing rushed. Just conversations that extended naturally. About work. About business. About building something from the ground up. He was an architect. Ran a small but growing firm. Focused on restoration projects. Preserving structure. Enhancing what already existed. Not tearing things down just to rebuild something flashier. That told me a lot about him. Meanwhile, Daniel was watching. I didn't need direct contact to know. It showed up in other ways. Indirect, but clear. Cole called me one afternoon. He got demoted. I didn't react immediately. "How do you know?" "My cousin's girlfriend works in the same building," Cole said. "Apparently he lost a major client, missed deadlines. They dropped him from senior to regular." I leaned back in my chair. Let that settle. Months ago, I would have felt something. Concern. Conflict. Now? Nothing. Not even satisfaction. Just distance. "Unfortunate," I said. Cole laughed. "You're cold." "No," I replied quietly. "I'm done." That same week, I posted a photo that changed things again. Me, standing in front of a finished restoration. A 1969 Camaro. Black paint. Perfect reflection. And next to me, Ethan. Not posed. Not staged. Just standing there, mid-conversation, caught in the moment. The caption was simple. Built right, no shortcuts. That post exploded. Likes, shares, comments, and more importantly, attention from the right people. Later that night, a message request came in. New account. No profile. No posts. Just a name. Daniel. Of course. I didn't open it right away. Instead, I sent a screenshot to Cole. He called immediately. Don't. I wasn't going to. Good. Because whatever he says now, it's not about you. I knew that. But I opened it anyway. 3 messages. Can we talk? I made a mistake. I'm proud of what you're doing. I always knew you had it in you. I stared at the screen, then laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was predictable. He didn't always know. He dismissed it, mocked it, minimized it. And now, because other people were validating it, suddenly he had always believed. That's how people like him work. They don't see value until it's confirmed externally. Then they claim they saw it first. Another message came. Is that your boyfriend? I didn't respond. Then, he's not even that impressive. There it was. The shift from regret to entitlement to insult. Right on schedule. I blocked the account without replying, without hesitation. Done. A few days later, his mother showed up. Elaine Hayes. No makeup, no polished tone, just tired. She stood in the waiting area, looking around like she was seeing the place for the first time. You've done well, she said. Thank you. She hesitated, then got to the point. Daniel isn't doing well. I didn't react. She continued. He made a mistake, a big one. We all know that now. I crossed my arms. Yes, you do. She nodded slowly. I wanted to ask if... No, I didn't let her finish. She looked at me, really looked. And for the first time, there was no judgment in her eyes. Just acceptance. I understand, she said. And I think she did. Bad. That night, Ethan stopped by the shop after closing. We sat on the edge of the workbench, talking. Nothing heavy. Nothing forced. Just easy. I told him about the visit. About Daniel. About everything. He listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't offer solutions. Just absorbed it. When I finished, he said one thing. Sounds like he only valued you when other people did. I nodded. Yeah. He looked around the shop. Then back at me. I don't need anyone else to tell me what something is worth. That hit. Because it wasn't about me. It was about how he saw the world. And that difference, that's everything. As he left, he paused at the door. Dinner sometime? He asked. Simple. Direct. No performance. No pressure. I smiled. Yeah, I'd like that. And for the first time since everything happened, I felt something new. Not recovery. Not revenge. Something better. Forward. But even then, even with everything falling into place, something in the back of my mind stayed alert. Because people like Daniel don't disappear quietly. They come back. One more time. One last move. And when he did, I was ready. When regret turned into control. The first hit didn't come face to face. It came quietly. Through a screen. On a normal Tuesday morning. I I was in the office, going over invoices, when Logan knocked lightly on the doorframe. You might want to see this? He handed me his phone. Google reviews. 1 star. Terrible service. Scratched my car and refused to fix it. Owner is unprofessional. I read it once, then again, slowly, calmly, because something about it felt off. No details. No car model. No timeline. No record that matched anything we'd done. Tony leaned in from behind me. That's fake. I nodded. Yeah, not angry. Not yet. Just focused. Because this wasn't about emotion. It was about business. And business requires precision. I replied publicly. Professional. Controlled. Asked for details. Requested a work order number. Invited them to contact us directly. Then I screenshotted everything. Saved it. Documented it. Because something told me this wasn't going to be the last one. It wasn't. 2 days later, 3 more reviews appeared. All 1 star. All with the same tone. Same vague complaints. Same structure. Different names. Same voice. That's when it stopped being coincidence and became intention. Our rating dropped. 4.9 to 4.5. Not catastrophic, but enough to matter. Enough to affect trust. Enough to make potential clients hesitate. I stood in the middle of the shop that afternoon, phone in my hand, looking at the screen, and I didn't feel panic. I felt clarity, because I already knew who this was. Daniel. Not because I had proof yet, because I understood him. When control slips, people like him don't let go. They try to take something back, any way they can. I made 1 call. Marcus, old friend, cybersecurity, the kind of person who enjoys solving problems like this. I need a favor, I said. 20 minutes later, he was already working. By that afternoon, he had answers. They weren't careful, he said. I leaned back in my chair. Meaning? All 4 accounts were created within a short window. Same writing patterns. Same behavior. And? He paused. Same IP origin. My jaw tightened. Where? He gave me the address. Daniel's building. Confirmed. Clean. Undeniable. Marcus sent me everything. Logs. Timestamps. Account links. I filed a dispute with Google. Attached the evidence. Submitted it. Then I waited. 3 days later, all 4 reviews were gone. Just like that. Erased. Corrected. Resolved. But I didn't stop there. Not out of revenge. Out of principle. I posted. Simple. Controlled. No names. No accusations. Just truth. We recently dealt with coordinated fake reviews targeting our business. After investigation and documentation, all false claims have been removed. We stand by our work, and we keep receipts. That line hit. Hard. Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments. Support. Anger. People asking who would do something like that. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The message was already clear. 2 days later, my landlord called. Hey, Ava, you been working on cars in the parking lot at night? I frowned. No. Yeah, figured. Got a complaint. Noise issue. From who? He hesitated. Name doesn't match any tenant, but it says Daniel Hayes. There it was. Escalation. When he couldn't touch my reputation, he tried to touch my space, my business, my environment, my stability. I closed my eyes briefly, then said calmly, Don't worry about it. It's false. I know, he said. Just giving you a heads up. I hung up. And for the first time, I felt something colder than anger. Certainty. Because this wasn't confusion. It wasn't emotion. It was deliberate. Calculated. And it meant one thing. He wasn't done. That Saturday, he made his biggest mistake. He showed up. In person. I was working on Ethan's Porsche. Precision work. Focused. Controlled. The shop was alive. Logan in the front bay. Tony in the back. Everything moving. Until the door opened. And the energy shifted. I heard his footsteps before I saw him. Slower than before. Less confident. I rolled out from under the car. And there he was. Daniel. No suit. No polish. No performance. Just worn. We need to talk. I didn't move. No, you need to leave. He swallowed. Ava, please, 5 minutes. You wrote fake reviews about my business. I didn't. Don't. My voice cut clean. I have proof. Don't lie. Silence. He froze. Just for a second. Then, something cracked. Not anger. Not yet. Something softer. I'm sorry, he said. And this time, it sounded real. I can't sleep, he continued. I lost my position. I'm about to lose my apartment. Everything is falling apart, and His voice broke. I miss you. There it was. The version of him that might have mattered. Before. Now? Too late. There is no us, Daniel. His eyes filled. I know I messed up. You didn't mess up, I said quietly. You revealed who you are. That stopped him. Completely. Ethan stepped into the office doorway behind me, arms relaxed, watching, present. Daniel saw him, and everything changed. The softness vanished. Instantly, his expression hardened. Is this because of him? Predictable. You already ended this, I said. You just don't like the result. He turned to Ethan, looked him up and down. He's not even impressive. Ethan didn't react, didn't move, didn't engage, which made it worse, because people like Daniel need reaction. They need validation. They need something to push against. Silence destroys them. You think you're better than me? Daniel snapped. I stepped forward slightly. You need to leave. Or what? I call the police. You're trespassing. We held eye contact. 3 seconds. 4. 5. Then he broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just collapsed inward. His shoulders dropped. His anger drained. He stood there for a moment, then turned. Walked out. Gone. The silence after? Heavy. Real. Tony lowered his phone slowly. Got that, he said. Of course he did. Monday morning, the consequences hit. Fast. Daniel's boss called. Formal. Controlled. We've been made aware of an incident. I can confirm it, I said. Do you have documentation? Yes. Please send it. So I did. Full video. Clear. Unedited. Undeniable. 2 days later, he was fired. Not demoted. Not warned. Gone. After a breakdown. After trying to explain. After failing. Everything he built collapsed. I stood in the shop that night after closing, hands resting on the workbench, looking at everything I had built. Everything he once called small. And I realized something. I didn't destroy him. I didn't ruin his life. I didn't take anything from him. I just stopped letting him control mine. And without that, he unraveled on his own. But even then, even with everything that had already happened, I knew one thing. People like Daniel don't let go easily. They make one final move, one last attempt, and when it came, I would end it completely. The final conversation, and what was left behind. 6 weeks after Daniel walked out of my shop for the last time, the noise stopped. No more fake reviews, no more calls, no more attempts to reach me through other people. Just silence. The kind that feels unnatural at first, like something is missing. Until you realize it's not something missing, it's something gone, and your life is better for it. The shop had grown again, not in a dramatic overnight way, but in the kind of steady expansion that meant it was real. We took over the unit next door, knocked down the dividing wall. 4 bays became 6, a dedicated paint booth, a waiting area that didn't feel like an afterthought. New signage, new name, Collins Auto Works. It wasn't just a shop anymore. It was a business, a brand, something that carried weight when people said it out loud. Ethan was part of that now, not just as a client, not just as someone who stopped by, but as someone who understood what it meant to build something from nothing. He didn't try to take over, didn't try to improve things that didn't need fixing. He asked. He listened. He respected. And that was something I had never experienced before. We didn't rush anything. There was no dramatic start to whatever we were becoming. Just small moments. Consistent ones. Dinner after late nights at the shop. Coffee before early mornings. Conversations that didn't feel like performance. Just real. And that made it stronger than anything loud ever could. I miss you. 3 months after everything ended, I got a call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Almost. But something in me said, this is it. So I picked up. Silence. Then, breathing. Uneven. Shaky. I knew before he spoke. Ava. Daniel. Calling from someone else's phone. Of course. I need to see you, he said. Just once. One conversation. Then I'll leave you alone forever. I closed my eyes briefly. Exhaled. Part of me wanted to hang up. End it right there. But another part. The part that had lived with unfinished conversations. Unanswered questions. Needed closure. Not for him. For me. Tomorrow, I said. Noon. At the shop. 30 minutes. His breath caught. Thank you. I hung up. Ethan didn't like it. Why give him anything, he asked that night. Because I don't want this hanging over me anymore. He studied me for a moment, then nodded, then end it. Simple, clear. That's what I needed. The next day, Daniel arrived exactly on time. No suit, no confidence, no version of himself left to perform. Just a man who had lost everything he thought defined him. He sat across from me in the office. Door open. Logan and Tony within earshot. No privacy. No illusions. You have 30 minutes, I said. He nodded, hands shaking slightly. I've been in therapy, he started. I didn't react. I didn't understand how much I tied my self-worth to what other people thought. My parents, my coworkers, the image I was trying to maintain. His voice cracked. I thought I needed someone who made me look successful. I leaned back, watched him. And you thought I didn't. He flinched. I was wrong. Yes, I said calmly. You were. He kept going. About how he realized things too late. How he lost everything. How he hated himself for what he did. How he knew he didn't deserve anything from me. And then, finally, the question. Is there any chance we could try again? There it was. The reason for everything. Not closure. Not accountability. Hope. Desperate, misplaced hope. No. I didn't hesitate. Didn't soften it. Didn't explain it. Just, no. He blinked, like he hadn't prepared for that. Like he thought maybe, just maybe, this would end differently. You didn't change, I continued. You just lost everything, and now you're looking for something to hold on to. That's not... It is. I leaned forward slightly. 6 months ago, if I had shown up with money, status, everything you wanted, you would have said yes to that proposal. He didn't answer, because he couldn't. And when I showed up with honesty, effort, something real, you threw it away. Silence. Heavy. Final. You don't miss me, I said quietly. You miss the version of your life you had when I was in it. His eyes filled. That's not true. It is. Because you didn't regret it when you humiliated me. You didn't regret it when I left. You didn't regret it when I started building something. I paused. Let it land. You only regretted it when you saw me happy without you. That broke him. Completely. I love you, he whispered. I shook my head slowly. No. Tears fell. You love the idea of not being alone. That silence was the end.
Wow.
He sat there for a moment longer, then stood, wiped his face. I hope you're happy, he said. I am. And him? He asked quietly. I didn't hesitate. He respects me. That was all that mattered.
It is.
Daniel nodded once, turned, and walked out. No shouting. No anger. No final attempt. Just gone. For real this time. I watched him leave through the front window. Watched him get into a car that wasn't his. Watched it drive away. And I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt free. 3 months later, everything had settled into something solid. Something real. The shop was thriving. We hired more staff. Expanded again. Built systems. Structure. Longevity. Ethan and I moved in together. Not out of necessity. Not out of pressure. But because it made sense. Because we chose it. One night, we were at a business event downtown. Formal. Crowded. The kind of place that used to make me feel out of place. Now, I belonged there. Not because of what I wore, but because of what I had built. That's when I saw him. Daniel. Across the room. Different. Not broken. Not impressive. Just normal. He saw me too. Hesitated. Then walked over. Ava, he said. Daniel. We stood there. No tension. No history pulling at us. Just two people who had once been something and weren't anymore. I'm doing better, he said. I nodded. Good. I meant what I said. I was wrong. I know. He glanced at Ethan, then back at me. You look happy. I am. That was it. No drama. No apology repeated. No attempt to reopen anything. Just acknowledgement. Growth. Closure. He nodded once, then walked away. And this time, I didn't watch him go, because I didn't need to. On the drive home, Ethan asked me something. Do you ever regret it? I thought about it. About the dinner, the ring, the humiliation, everything that followed. No, I said finally. If he had said yes that night, I would have spent years trying to become someone I'm not. I looked out the window, city lights reflecting across the glass. Instead, I built something real. Found someone who sees me clearly. I glanced at Ethan. And that's worth everything. A year later, the shop opened a second location. 2 years later, I stood in that same shop. Different space. Same foundation. Ethan standing in front of me, holding a ring. Not flashy, not oversized. Just right. He didn't make a speech. Didn't perform. Just said, will you marry me? And I didn't look at the size. Didn't compare. Didn't hesitate. Yes. Because this time, it wasn't about what it looked like. It was about what it meant. That morning, sitting in the shop with a cup of coffee in my hands, watching the first customer pull in, I realized something simple. Daniel was right about one thing. I didn't have ambition, not the kind he understood. I didn't want status or validation or to be seen as impressive by people who only valued appearances. I had something else. Something better. I had the ambition to build, to create, to grow, to stand on my own terms, and to be with someone who saw that without needing to be convinced.
Action.
The garage door opened, light poured in, and I stood up. Let's see what we've got, I said, because life, finally, felt exactly the way it was supposed to.